Yeah, you won't notice.
Hi, Sister Johnson.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good today. How are
Thank
you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for just
Yes.
being available today for me to do this for my
Yeah.
class.
Well, nice you asked me. I'm honored
Yeah, I
tonight.
thought that
Yeah.
you would be perfect just to share your story with my class and just talk a little bit about your life.
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
what I
Okay, well,
tell
we're
you
just
what I know about my life.
yeah. So we'll just start off with some just a little questions to just ease on in. And the
Okay.
first question would be, what is your full name and where were you born?
My full name is Catherine with a C Johnson, and I was born in Fayette County, Texas. That's between Austin and Houston.
Okay. And were your parents born there as well?
Well, they were. All I know that they were born my in Texas.
In Texas.
Sure.
Okay, just not the
Those I know
exact
of.
town. Okay.
Hmm.
Awesome. And when did you move to Dallas?
I came to Dallas after. See, I lived on a farm.
Okay.
That's why I was born and raised on a farm.
Okay.
And my father had a 199-acre farm.
Oh.
That's where I was uh, born.
Okay.
And during those times they had midwives, so I
Mhm.
didn't wasn't born in a hospital or nothing.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was born on the farm, and I'm 8 miles from town, way in the country. And when I was born, and in those days, people didn't tell kids much.
Mhm.
Only
About their
when
history
they
and
asked you.
everything.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You didn't hang around their straight tales and listen.
Mhm.
So I didn't. That's my worst problem, that I didn't ask questions.
You didn't ask
And
questions.
they wouldn't. If they would have answered me, why were they born?
Yeah.
I never met my grandfather, our mother, none of my grandparents on either side. My mother's people came from Mississippi,
Okay.
and my father's came from Alabama.
Wow.
And he was, he was 65 when he died,
Mhm.
but he was born in 1864. But
1864.
I think that was 2 years after.
It was 1 year.
Was it 1
It was
year?
1 year.
1 year.
Yeah, it was 1 year.
Because he always would tell us that he was a year old when
Yeah.
he brought it, or when he could reach on the table and get
Yeah.
food. So his parents were slaves.
Yeah.
But he didn't talk
He
about
didn't talk
it,
about it.
because by him being so young, he didn't know
He didn't
much
know.
about that.
Wow.
And so when we came here, his father, they gave him his freedom, and so they
Mhm.
bought a farm. My father, my grandfather did.
Okay.
And then when the kids that they had, when he died, he had already divided among them the
Mhm.
farm, how many acres they would get each. So
Wow.
we got 199 acres.
199.
That's all I know about that.
Wow.
And his sisters was joining
Yeah.
our farm, and there was a well there
Okay.
right between the farms. His sisters, mine, and him.
Mhm.
And that's why we would go and draw water from the well. I don't
Wow.
know, you know anything about
Yeah,
that.
I've heard about people's
Drawing
different stories
water.
about drawing waters, but
They
I've
always
never
come
done it
to the
before.
well. Come to the well on that side. They come to the well. That's why we made up at the well.
Yeah.
Drawing water, carried up the hill. That's my life, you know. And then we had chicken and
Mhm.
turkeys and hogs and cattle. We had about 3 or 4 heads of mules and horses. That's what
Mhm.
we had, 1 horse and about 3 mules, I believe. And we did the work by hand. We didn't
Mhm.
have no, what do they have, appliances now.
Okay.
The mules pulled the pliers, and I know you saw that in books.
Yeah.
But the mules pulled
Yeah, I
the
did see that.
cultivators and
That's so
farm
cool. So you wake up early in the morning.
early in the morning for days. But we had to milk the cows before we went to the field.
Oh,
Milk the
wow.
cows and feed the hogs. We had hogs and chicken and then separate the milk from the cream. We had a
Okay.
separator. Something you
Yeah, I don't know anything about a separator. How's that process?
we did that without was no electric at all. We didn't have
Mhm.
electricity at all.
Mhm.
So we had oil lamps and lamps. We had buckets and service
Okay.
pulled by horses.
Okay.
When I was born, that's when we went to church. So that's why we milked the cows and separated the milk. The cream go in one bowl, the milk go in the other. That's why we made butter
Okay.
from the cream. So that's what we did for a living from sun up to sundown. We work in the field, chop cotton and plowed in the field
Yeah.
and did that. And we was making 50 cents a day.
Mm.
That was ours. If we go and hire ourselves out to the next farmer, which was be a German,
Okay.
they have their farm, so we go and work to make us some money,
Okay.
50 cents a day.
Oh wow.
And if another farmer would hire us, pay us more, it would be 75 cents a
Mhm.
day. All day, but that was good money.
Yeah.
And I went to school, walked 4 miles one way, 4 miles back.
And how old were you when you started going to school? How was it?
We were 6 years old.
6 years old.
Mhm.
Okay.
We went to school. My sister, I had a twin. I have another. It was 4 of us that
Mhm.
was reared together. I had a sister older than we were, and a brother. The brother
Okay.
was the oldest. So it
Okay.
was 4 of us growing up.
Okay.
So we walked those 4 miles one way to school and 4 miles
Wow.
back in the afternoon. And sometimes it would be raining,
Mhm.
like come a storm and rain. We had to walk. We had a creek to cross.
Okay.
You know what a creek is?
Yes, I do.
Well, we had to cross
you
the
walked.
creek.
You walked across the creek too.
But it was rising. If it
Mhm.
would rise, we had to hurry up and run to get home before the creek rise. You say,
Yeah.
I'll get on before the creek rise. If the creek rise, we'd be on this other side and we couldn't get on.
Couldn't get over.
So there was a log that crossed would fall. They fixed the log to fall across the creek branch.
Mhm.
You
Okay.
walk on the log.
Oh, okay.
But a lot of times we were so afraid to walk across the log. But we had to do it whether
So you
we
could
were
get
afraid or
home.
not.
Yeah.
So we would walk across them, and our brother would tease us. So, but that's the way we did. Went to school. We had one room teacher,
Okay.
one schoolhouse, one teacher.
One
teach
teacher.
from the first grade through the 8th.
Wow.
One teacher did
And how
that.
many students were there?
Well, it was in the neighborhood. I guess it's around 25,
Mhm.
30 some
Wow.
from different communities.
Yeah.
And she would teach us from the first grade through the 8th grade. That's why we
Mhm.
graduated in elementary school. And that's the way. And the matter of fact, they were teachers, but they was only making about $20 a month or
Wow.
$25 a month. I don't exactly know, but that's in
It was like
the
$20 a
range of
month.
that.
And how old were you when y'all moved to Dallas?
When I came to Dallas, I was 22 years old.
You were
Came
22.
to Dallas in 1940.
Okay.
Mhm.
And did you move by yourself, or was it like you and your
I
siblings?
moved I had a niece that lived here, my
Okay.
sister that lived here
Okay.
in Dallas, and I lived with them
Mhm.
till I got married. About 10 years, and then I got married and moved out.
Okay.
But when I first came to Dallas, I didn't know anything about
Yeah.
the city.
How was it? How was it coming from a farm to being
It's
like
different.
a city?
It's very different. Because I wasn't used to buses,
Mhm.
streetcars. That's what we had then. And the streetcars was 7 cents
Mhm.
to ride a streetcar. And the buses was the same. And they had the white and color
Mhm.
everywhere in Dallas.
And that was your first time like officially seeing segregation and everything?
Yeah, that's my first time. Because when I was living in the country, I didn't, by my dad being just and just a few years after segregation, we was free. There was nobody, you know, fussing about our age, how what they called us niggas and all of that. We didn't have any people to do like they are doing now to protest it because we were so afraid. My dad was free, his daddy was free. They didn't want to make no noise about nothing, so they took it. Whatever he walk on the sidewalk, you have to. My dad would have to get off the sidewalk if a white lady was coming, pull his hat off, and wait till she passed by. Otherwise, he would get his punished real bad. Anything, a hand, get him hung. But that's what he had to do there now, here a lot of it. But that's had to do that for us to be living today. I'll tell my nieces that. And they say, I wouldn't have did it. Oh, yes, you would have done it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So that's what they had to go through that.
Yeah.
Call everything, call the uncle. He was the old man. They called him uncle. My mother, Amy, she never was of age. Never was. They was always Amy and uncle. Never was. John, I called him by the
call him by their first name.
No.
And how did that make you feel? Like, do you remember your first reaction to seeing just something that was like colored here and white? So do you remember your first initial reaction?
When I first came to Dallas, that colored sign is on one side and white on the other. I would go to work and be in the afternoon, the bus be full, and maybe one seat left. You couldn't sit in that seat, you'd stand up over the seat, you know. There were 2 seats there. You couldn't sit in either one, and every time you go in the back, if when you get on the bus, if it was empty almost, you carry that sign, so you sit while it say colored, facing you, you know. And every time everybody else get on and fill up, you move. If they get the sign and move, they get the sign and move, then they get to the front seat. That's what we had to go through. Then that was colored and white toilets, water fountains downtown. We had to go down in the ground for colored, for restroom. And then we couldn't try on any clothes or hats or nothing.
And were you able to go into, how was it, if you wanted to go into a department store, were those also department stores?
Because it was secret. You can go in, but you couldn't touch nothing. If you want to buy a dress, you pick it, but
you couldn't touch anything.
No, couldn't try it on, couldn't touch it. You just tell them, and couldn't bring it back either.
Yeah.
So you had to wear.
And what was your first job in?
My first job when I was working in private home.
Okay.
My first job, I was working in private home, making $7 a week.
Okay.
And I thought I was on hard cotton.
Yeah.
And then got it, didn't know anything about it. So when I first got for me, we didn't learn more, and then they give you a little raise. You make $8.50 or something like that. But you go in the back door and come out the back door. You didn't go in the front door.
Wow.
You never did go in, and you had to wear apron.
Okay.
I did. I remember wear apron and something on my head to show that I'm show that you're, I guess, a servant. That's what it is. So that you are a servant. And you always know you're a servant. You're not talking while you're working. And I had to clean the house. That's what. Scrub the floor on my knees, the baseboard, and do all that to make that $7.
And how long did it take you to get home every day?
Oh, you worked this for 8 hours a day.
8 hours.
And then she come and find us not doing anything. She find something else. If I get through before, she'll find something else to wash the windows or something else to do. So it was just, well, I didn't say anything different from do anything. Just did what they told me to do.
Okay.
I didn't speak out.
Okay.
When I should have, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But it was a life that I wouldn't take for exchange, because it grew me in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
To be more patient and all. So I lived and finally when I got married, I worked at Woodward's. I know you never heard of it. Woodward's store.
Oh, okay. I have. I think I have.
5 and 10 cent store.
Mm-hmm.
And we worked. They sold the lunches every day. You could buy. Black people can come and buy plate lunch, but you could not sit at the counter and eat them. You had to stand up or somewhere else or something.
Yeah.
Or take it with you. That's the way we had to do that. We didn't have no advocates at all for that. So,
Sister Johnson, we're going to pause this for a minute. He's going to